different spoken words?
It is November X unto and we're making a driving video going to Kacy's, where the famous rampage took place on either March or March off unto Evanton, if you remember that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, something happened over there.
Yeah.
I brought up Weather Nation. You just got in cable, you said you didn't have it. You insisted you didn't have it, and then you got a little upset.
Oh, yeah. A little.
But then I got a little upset.
He had a major meltdown. Like a baby.
And we were going to talk about that. We're going to talk. One of the things I texted you about was the Lee's Liquor Lounge in Murderopolis.
Mm-hmm.
I did a spoken words there for a separate group.
Oh.
And that's the place where they had cool owners. My material went over pretty good. And
Good. That's great.
except they got new owners.
Uh-oh.
The guy who sold it was an 84-year-old man. The 84-year-old man was more open-minded than the new owners. So I did my spoken words about how Satan causes your shit to stink. And I was describing the two girls in One Cup movie in graphic detail. And then, for some reason, they canceled the open mic the following month. They decided to have it 2 months later. It was on September 8, I was in F10. That was the beginning of the crashing of that bad warrior cycle of shit. Bad warrior cycles is usually when a bunch of shit happens, and I have major losses. And it seemed like what got that one started was when my credit card was declined and my mother acted like a fucking bitch when I called her because I was upset. But I'm not supposed to be upset. I'm supposed to handle it by being mature. My mother constantly said I was immature.
And yet she holds on to things from years ago that bothered her.
Yes. And she would scream at the top of her lungs.
But you can't do that.
Was she immature?
In ways. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't hurt my feelings. She was.
Okay. Whoop.
Then in November, I got a real fucking bad toothache. And that was the beginning of that warrior cycle of shit. What the fuck is gonna happen in Unto Or I'm afraid the bad warrior cycle of Or could already be happening.
Oh no.
I hope not.
I hope not either.
It is fucking hot in here and you don't have to heat it.
When you have a toothache, the first thing to do is get one of those topical pain relief products and see if that doesn't work on it.
You know what? I use that for sinus infections.
And
it didn't work.
Oh no.
And if that's not the case, if that doesn't work, then you go see your dentist.
And it was an emergency. And they were going to originally give it root canal, but then this asshole don't know what fucking tooth it was.
Oh God.
Who said I need a root canal on 4 teeth and a crowns. You know how fucking expensive that would be.
I don't even want to think about it.
But then,
well, if anyone deserves a crown, it's me. I am the king of America.
Yes, dear.
I put the fucking they gave x-rays on the tooth and they didn't see anything. They had to give it like a x-ray of my entire head, and then they finally caught it was one tooth that was massively infected.
Oh.
It was only able to show up in that one x-ray where they go around in a circle there with the thing, whatever the fuck they call that thing. And then so those were the ooh forms of major shit. And then when you go into well, things didn't seem to be all that bad.
Yet.
After all that. I think everyone knows what that
I
shit
think
is.
so.
And then well, the Wowzipton cycle got started with that place where my spoken words.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, after the new owners, after they canceled it for 1 month, Plus, here's someone who, I don't know what the right word to call him. Did he virtual signal me or did he gaslight me?
Well, tell me what he did and I can tell you.
First thing he asked me is tells me to tone it down for my whatever I plan to talk about.
Uh-huh.
And then he said, yeah, the owners were really upset with what I talked about. They didn't want to hear about rubbing shit all over each other and excrement and things like that. And
hell, even Rodney, one of the coolest guys around, wasn't into that.
Rodney.
Yeah, Rodney, you know, was from the Star Bar.
Well, he would not have liked that spoken words?
I have a feeling it would have been too extreme for him.
Well, he was already a fucking asshole.
He supposedly doesn't believe in censorship.
That's a load of shit.
Or excrement, as...
But anyway, first the ex-night said, I don't have a problem with it. And we were talking about, well, they actually had, that's where I saw Nashville Pussy.
Yeah.
But that was before the new owners took over, for one thing. And he said, well, Nashville Pussy is just a band. It's not talking about rubbing shit all over each other. And then he was afraid his job was online. Then he said, after he says he doesn't have a problem with it, all of a sudden he gets kind of nasty with me. He says, well, you think you can just come in our bar and talk about rubbing shit all over each other? And
wow.
And then the owner of the bar got to hear it that night.
Oh.
And what bothered him was either his girlfriend or wife heard it.
So?
Well, she was probably an uptight snowflake prissy cunt. So the owner of the bar actually... Why would anyone want to be with an uptight fucking cunt like that? You know,
because he loves her.
I couldn't love him.
Love shit. No, if he's the male equivalent.
You know what
of
I'd like to do to her,
person.
but I can't even say what I'd like to do to her because my video might get censored off YouTube.
Yeah.
And when I'd like
anyway,
to.
you were neither gaslighted or virtue signaled. Let me see if I could explain what that means. All right,
When someone says one thing, and then 2 minutes later they're acting a totally different way.
Yeah, well, gaslighting is when someone tries to convince you of something that's not true. Like, a perfect example...
Politicians do it all the time. No, Obama does it.
Yeah, well, a perfect example is back, I think, in the 80s, there was this big scandal where psychiatrists try to convince their patients that the patients were sexually abused as children when they actually were not. And they did that to make them more dependent on them, on the psychiatrist.
Are you talking about the McMartin case? I really don't want to discuss that, but is that the case? Then let's just not talk about it.
Yeah, it's upsetting, I know. I don't know about that case in particular, but...
But I heard that was fake news even. The whole thing was made up. That's part of media sensationalism.
Right, and
so
virtue signaling is what social justice warriors do. It's like...
well, politicians do too. I think it's very similar to gaslighting.
Virtue signaling, it's like patting yourself on the back to show how tolerant and open-minded you are. Like,
Well, I think it means more that it's also to show how good you are.
I think that was examined back in an old 60s song by Phil Oakes called Love Me, I'm a Liberal.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Well, anyway...
That's a good example.
I'm wondering, how can that guy stand...
Okay, we can go now.
Now, the owner of the bar probably had a lot of money.
You know how he could stand being with her? She was probably attractive.
But there are a lot of attractive women out there.
How can he?
Yeah.
How can he put up with that kind of shit? How can he stick his dick in her stinky?
Because he's probably the male equivalent of her.
How can he stick his dick up her stinky, smelly twat?
Because he's probably a male version of her, and he feels the same way she does.
I wonder if he fucked her in the ass. So this spoken words. See, I got it written down in a text I want to talk about, and I got something.
Oh.
We might not be able to talk about the whole thing because we run out of material with this particular situation. But Oh God, did that throw me in a fucking rage when that kind of shit happened at my. And then they eventually canceled the open mic anyway. And he was
Yeah.
afraid. He was afraid his job was going to be lost for promoting the spoken words.
Okay, well, that is a legitimate concern. If it's going to cause a problem, you know, but it should. Unfortunately, it
In his
shouldn't.
case, he was a lying hypocrite, so I don't
Oh.
give a fuck. And he lost his job anyway. And then, furthermore, he also got in trouble because he did have the GGL cover band. Actually, the band that GGL was in that's still around, at least was
Murder
around.
Junkies?
Murder Junkies?
Yes.
Oh.
Where the guy stuck a beer bottle up his ass.
Well, the drummer used to play naked, and at the end of his set, he would stick the drumsticks up his ass.
It was either a beer bottle or a drumstick.
Oh, would you like to lick the beer bottle or drumstick after it's been up his ass?
Not him.
Not anyone, really. Ew.
But he also got in trouble for promoting that show.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news is you can also, here's where Trons come into the equation.
Okay.
The only parking lot, they were located next to downtown Murderopolis, and the only place for parking that was free was the parking lot they owned that was across the street. Or maybe they didn't own it, someone just let them use it.
Uh-huh.
So that was the nice thing about going there, was easy to find parking. But because they were going to have equipment to build light rail trons,
Yeah.
the parking lot was closed off, and then that fucking douchebag fucking piece of shit fucking prick decided to close the bar anyway. Good fucking riddance. And when someone's going to take away my fucking freedom of fucking speech, I want them fucking shut down anyway. Fuck them. So I'm glad they're gone. I put that rant on Facebook, and I think it was in a non-tin. Do you remember that?
If I saw it again, I would.
In fact, I wanted to do. I could have done a spoken words about that, but I didn't think of it.
Oh, that would be a good topic.
It would be. It's on Facebook. The problem is I'd have to go in the Word. I'd have to
Yeah.
edit it, and then either I'd have
Get
to email
that.
it to you, and because if it's a 30-minute rant, that's a little too long.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, I think this is the best driving video of my visit so far.
I was gonna say, this is a great driving video.
It's not as though the others weren't good, but the
No,
problem is
but
I
this
just
one
didn't.
you're shooting from both hips.
I didn't have the energy.
Yeah.
That
Oh, I
fucking
hate
cunt.
this
I wouldn't be able to
traffic.
put up with an uptight fucking cunt like that.
No, I would imagine not.
I mean, I'd rather stick my dick in a pile of vomit than put up with someone like that, even if
What's the
they're good.
difference?
As soon as I smell her stinky, smelly twat, I wouldn't want anything to do with her anyway.
That's true.
I don't know how your brother does what he does, if he's unless he's making it up, where he just picks pretty girls and then dumps them. But
I think he's making it up. I think he's
he doesn't have,
exaggerating.
unless he's got the money somehow.
He
can't-
doesn't.
No, June's other brother Adam has the money.
But he's been with his girlfriend for like 20 years or something.
I think I'm going to stop this and make a part 2 of this video.
Ew.